Hello my fellow ship friends. This video, the creation of my Santa Maria Shipwreck Diorama, is entirely dedicated to the painting and the creation of the dock here in the sea. You can see the technique I used to obtain a grading from wet wood to dry wood and how I painted 9 different kinds of aged woods. So that's for now. Hope you like it. Leave your comments, leave suggestions. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and help of my channel is very greatly appreciated. See you next video. Bye bye.
First, I start by painting the dock with a dark grey base color, aka German grey. From this base layer, I'll gradually build up the different tones of aged woods. These are separate wooden planks that will eventually form the dock. Before assembling everything, I want to test several color combinations. I created 3 groups of blanks. Each group starts with the same base color, German grey. The first group is painted with leather brown, followed by flatbird. The second group receives mud brown first, and then a layer of cork. And the last group starts with neutral grey and is finished with German beige. This creates 3 different tones of wood: darker aged timber, warmer brown wood, and a more grey weathered look. These tones will appear throughout the diorama, on the dock itself, the defensive stakes, the watchtowers, and the stacked timber. And to finish the base tones, I add a very light dry brush with white grey to bring out the wood texture. Next, I treat each plank with a different pigment. I'm using light yellow ochre, burnt umber, and faded green. These pigments help simulate different conditions: dry wood, slightly damp wood, and darker areas exposed to more moisture. Here you can see the same group of planks as before, now treated with burnt umber, light yellow ochre, and faded green. The difference becomes now very clear. And the second group of planks is treated with the same pigments. And also the grey group receives the same pigment variations. In total, this gives me 9 different variations of weathered wood. So this side of the dock will sit in the water, so it needs to look weathered and slightly darker. For that area, I mix German grey, leather brown, and flat earth. The middle section represents drier wood, so I add some cork. And the beach side will be the driest and dustiest area, where I mix in German beige. So essentially, the dock will show three natural color zones: water side, middle section, and beach side. To paint this, I use a wet gradient technique. After painting, I will add washes, first a black wash, then a mix of dark rust and light rust, and after that I will dry brush and apply pigments again. And layer 1 starts here with leather brown. The middle section is mud brown. Because the leather brown is still wet, I blend the mud brown into it to create a smooth transition. And the final color for the dry side is neutral grey. And finally, I add some small brown streaks to break up the surface and blend the colors any further. Now I add a layer of Vallejo flat earth to the water side of the dock. And in the middle section, I apply a very soft layer of cork. And on the beach side, I add some journal grey. Next, I apply a black wash. Immediately after applying it, I remove most of it from the surface, so the wash remains mainly in the grooves. Now I add a dark rust wash, followed by a light rust wash around the metal elements of the dock. the light rust wash is applied around the posts and I let it run naturally into the wood structure. To simulate algae growth, I mix medium olive green with a small amount of black wash. At first, the color was too green, so I mix in a little bit brown. Then I apply it in damp areas where sunlight rarely reaches and where people would normally not walk. On the sandy side of the dog, I apply a very light dry brush with white grey. And the final step is adding dry pigments. I start here with Burnt Umber. After sealing the surface with varnish to simulate wet areas, I place the dog into the diorama. Then I add a little bit more pigment in selected spots so the surface doesn't appear uniformly glossy.